Good evening to all. I have some problem in the PPT show. Just give me some time. I'll be back. There's some problem in uh, the PPT. Okay, I'll just try again. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Uh, I'm not visible even though I'm putting the camera. So give me just 2 minutes. I'll just come back properly. Okay, yeah. So I'm there. So let me just try with my PPT there. There's some problem in the try restarting your browser. So I'll just uh, go and come back again because there's some problem in the uploading of my PPT, even though I'm going the same way as I used to do before. Okay. So just excuse me. I'll just log out and come again, log in again, right? Be there. Yeah. It's a big problem when we cannot show the PPT. Okay, but I'll try. If not, I'll explain through my own words. Can anyone help me out if you have any idea in this? Okay. So uh, today is the last day for us where we can learn many things besides whatever we have learned. And today's session is very important because we usually start up with some type of communication, but later on we end up uh, drawing conflicts or miscommunication. And we take some decisions, which is very important from all of us, but somehow we miss taking proper decisions. So this is a very important session where you will be knowing many things which will be coming across. So I'll start and I'll just try with my PPT. I don't know why it is taking so much of time and it's not properly getting connected. Uh, I, can you all see the PPT? No, right? Okay. Okay. So you may not see the PPT, but listen to me. I will just go on with the topics and I'll try to complete the topics as such. If needed, you can just make a note of it. It's very important, very easy topics now. With examples, anyhow, I will be saying. So once I go with the examples, it will be easy to, understand what I am talking of and what is the detail of it, right? It is not seen. Okay, so you can see me, right? So I'll just talk about the different topics what I'm going to speak. So right now, I think so. You all have understood understanding your own self and somewhat of managing your own self, right? So are you all able to see me? And am I audible? It's very important.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You can
Yes,
see
ma'am.
me as well as you can hear me, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is the if there is any problem, just let me know. Fine.
Okay, okay. Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I will just go on with the topics now. So now today's topic is basically communication. Now, how do we communicate with people? The communication is related with our tone, the way we speak, high tone or low tone, or the pitch of voice, or somewhat very sad or very happy. It depends upon how we speak and with what eye contact we speak. We just raise our eyebrows or big eyes or some tension in our body or gestures. This all gives the type of communication that we form within ourselves. Now, if we go on talking about a communication about a student, right, and a teacher, suppose there is a teacher, okay, and a student, usually how the student comes to the staff room and they say that, ma'am or sir, I think so, I need some more marks and I have written all these things. Why am I not given marks? Okay, so here I'll give you one example. Now there's a student, the student's name is Nicholas. So he asked permission from the staff room, from the teachers inside, to speak to the geography teacher. Okay. So the geography teacher is seated there, named Miss Sita. So the student wants to increase in marks in the geography, which has been taken place recently. And the teacher is visibly irritated when she saw that student because she knows about the student that this is what the thing is going to happen. Now she stopped Nicholas mid-sentence as he was requesting for something, some statement like, I can see you are not interested in your studies, whereas you are more interested in increasing your marks. So, in front of all, when the teacher speaks like this, the student did not know what to do because the student did not talk at all. Before he speaks, the teacher spoke. Okay. Now, what happens is the teacher was refusing to talk to him, and now what she says is, my marks are to be earned. You cannot just ask for begging marks and all. And you're very lazy, you don't study at all. So all these things she started saying. So how do you say about this communication between a student and a teacher? It is really something called that I will not give for whatever you have come for, right? So here we will talk about more of verbal communication, non-verbal communication, how to properly speak on verbal, where some small mistakes can be taken place, how you can build up all those things, what type of climate is needed for positive communications, and all that. I will be talking about decision making after this. Now, sometimes there are psychological barriers. See, I can speak more of psychology, or you know where people are affected mentally, because I'm dealing with that way. And mostly our students or teachers, they are psychologically affected than anything else. Now, why there is a problem in communication? Sometimes it is not clear. One person speaks and the other person doesn't understand what he or she speaks. Sometimes it is so confusing. Or sometimes we don't listen to the person, like as the teacher was saying, she doesn't want to listen to the child, whereas she started judging the child. So sometimes it is emotional insecurity, different ways and all. So it is how we self express ourselves, how we reflect ourselves is the basis of communication, right? Now there will be verbal and non-verbal, very famous, very common communication taking place. Suppose sometimes we may misplace a word, right? As I used to tell, today I met one of my teammate, and I was telling that there was a student who was suffering from mental health, and he was put into a first aid center. The student felt that, why am I kept in first aid center? What harm did I do? Am I put in an experimental schedule or what? So the counselor did not want to say that, no, not. So rather than saying not, he just misplaced the word and he said, you are not experimental, you are experimental. So that not word is not there. You just think, how is the meaning going to take place with a person, with a student who is suffering from mental health disease, who has suicidal ideation? A small gap in communication will bring a different meaning for it. So this is how verbally we say, or we may also give messages and all. So this is not verbally, it was not said, whereas it was a WhatsApp message, but he has misunderstood it. Okay. So sometimes we non-verbally express something that we may not be understanding what we are saying. So sometimes the teachers, they come inside the class and they stand quietly without saying, just staring at the students. That's it. The students will be quiet. So different type of verbal and non-verbal communication takes place among us. I will be talking more about it. Now, what happens in verbal communication? We express ourselves, we interact with people, and that expression or interactive people comes from different cultures, comes from different castes, socioeconomic status, anything you can take of. Now, if you start building your own way of expression, then it will be more harmful for the teachers, for the students, right? They will come into the trauma there. Now, if I say choosing words carefully, so if you choose words like a student approaches a teacher, and the student wants to tell that due to some disturbances at home yesterday, I could not complete the homework. So it is up to you how you deal with the student. So if the teacher says, don't worry, hope you will do it tomorrow, that is fine. Okay. But if the teacher says that, what you are saying, you don't know what type of brain you have, dimag nahi hai kya tera, you should have completed. So this is a different type of communication which is shared. So what type of words you are speaking, you have to be very careful, because sometimes by mazak mein bol dete hain, we say just by fun we say, but it is very traumatic when it is taken care with by the student there. Now sometimes we have to take responsibilities. So it is a responsibility. Some words has to be taken care, like sometimes it versus I statement. Sometimes we speak like it is a very difficult task to interact with Mr. So and so. Okay, so rather than telling it is very difficult, we can say I find it difficult to interact with so and so. So, taking the responsibility on yourself will also save the communication to be bitter, right? You versus I. Again, you can say you are a very messy student. You can say like this: I sometimes do not like it when you are messy. Just see the words. So when we speak like this, it becomes easy for the student also to understand, and we do not hurt anyone. This is a type of assertiveness when we learn you versus I or but statements. You are a wonderful student with creative imagination, you are saying, but you need to be punctual. So when we wanted the student to do something, we can frame a sentence like this. Or questions versus statements. Should we take out our class to the grounds today? Or compare it, let's take the class to the grounds. It is sunny. So these are different type of responsibility which we are taking of our own words or our own verbal communication to frame it properly, and we are all comfortable with it. We will be really very much you thinking that yes, I have done my work and the work is done without hurting anyone else. This is how we have to take responsibilities. You now sometimes we have to avoid the labeling part. We used to label like वो सीधा लड़का है, बेवकूफ है, पढ़ाकू है, कमजोर है. So we just say like this in a different verbal expression. Okay, sometimes one person goes on, student goes on studying. पढ़ाकू है, हर वक्त पढ़ता रहेगा क्या? What is this? So sometimes teachers fix the mindset. The student is this, that student is that. We are not supposed to go with the fixed mindset. So we are not supposed to label people out. In this, what we need to do, we have to see the growth mindset rather than fixed mindset. We can say that we can appreciate the effort of the students taken place rather than saying that oh ye seedha hai, ye hushyar hai. We should not tell all these things. So we, one thing in verbal communication is avoid labeling. Examine presupposition. Another thing, sometimes we may misplace some of the verbal expression. I was just telling about it before. uh, as you are not interested in your studies, I am not going to put in much effort. That is what the person says. Here, the first part of the statement is a presupposition, like you are not interested in studies. So, why to put effort? So sometimes the student they may feel that when the geography teacher says that I can see you are not interested in your studies, but you're clearly interested in increasing marks. So it is a type of presupposition. You're not listening to the student, but you are talking something which you have examined by yourself, right? So sometimes we share power and control. So sometimes what we say is our language is itself controlling the others. Like, I know what is best for you. You must listen to me. You should do whatever your teacher says. So sometimes we go with some type of controlling the people, which we are not supposed to do again in a verbal communication. We need to recognize where we are controlling or the messages, the expression that we are doing, because it may be the nature for us to control, but when it comes to our profession, we need to respect the voice of the students rather than giving our voice to them. So here together we need to work rather than I would like to know what you think you should say rather than saying that you should listen to me. So these are different type of controlling power which you should avoid. I'll just try once more if I can uh, share this PPT over here. Can you all see it? Oh, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. It's really good. I was just
Yes,
thinking I cannot. Okay, okay. So you all can see it, right? Very nice. So now we will go for effective non-verbal communication. I was just talking about verbal communication. Now we will go with the effective non-verbal communication. Sorry. Okay. So it's clear with full screen for all of you. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, after verbal, we come to non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is message that are communicated. We are not speaking, no language is used, but sometimes we intentionally or non unintentionally we try to say something to the other so that other can understand. So, unintentional messages are those that we not do not necessarily want to communicate it but cannot control their expression. Sometimes when we are talking also we become angry and maybe a frowning face comes all of a sudden. We don't have control on that. Okay, so this all later on we find that why did I do that. So hard look or a frowning face or some other mockingly we speak. Sometimes we do it which is not at all in our control, we can say sometimes. So now let us see some of the aspects of non-verbal communication and their dynamics within the school classroom. Facial expression and eye contact. Now here, uh, when we communicate love, fear, intensity, gentleness, anger, irritation, everything comes through face. So usually in psychology, we say face is the index of emotion, right? So the teachers may have to courageously examine the stereotypes, prejudices, personal preferences, and fixed moral position that block our certain students from their inner circle. Sometimes when we close our eyes, this is just one activity you can see at the side. Like close your eyes and see your entire class in front of you. You can just imagine, right? This is one of the activity. Identify which of the students is part of your inner psychological circle with whom you regularly communicate. Which students are outside this circle where people keep quiet. Try to visualize over there. Maybe some words or attitudes, statements. So when you see into it, you can develop a proper relationship or you can understand your own way of non-verbal communication that you usually do without your control. So when you close your eyes, there is a picture which may arise in you. Okay, you can do it. You can just think when you are shouting or when you are talking or when you are teaching, how you may be feeling for it or how what type of expression would be coming to you. Right? Now, voice, tone, and silence, it's different. Like as you can see in the examples, again, I have given examples there. You are doing very well. You, not others, are doing well. Here we are giving main importance to you. Next sentence is you are doing very well. So the action is given more important. Next is you are doing very well. The focus is on the effort that you have, that the other person is doing so. You are doing very well. The focus is on the quality of work. So now you can understand how your voice or tone or silence, whatever you feel, is giving the interaction or the focus that you would like to put on the other person. So if the tone is overly sarcastic or authoritarian or rudely, it is a barrier in communication. So in all these 3 to 4 statements which I have said, you pick up the statement that you would like to prefer. So I have given in the brackets also, if the first statement is there, what you are preferring for. If the second, which one you are referring for the student. third, and fourth. So the same sentence is there, but your tone or voice is giving importance to one particular word in the sentence. And if you are giving one particular word more effort on that particular word, then the meaning is different. Can you just see? A small change in the voice itself with a particular word gives a different meaning to you. Now, sometimes our body posture and tension also affects a lot. Excessive comments on the way in which students dress, eating food. I think so. In most of the residential schools and all, the teachers sit along with the students, or sometimes they are also given some duties. Also, I don't know about you all. So international schools they see so that they eat together and they check that whether the other students are also proper or not. The class teachers also gets more duties in all these things. So nowadays, if you speak something about a student, suppose a student is fat, and you say that you're growing fat day by day, that is again a illegal gesture from the student, from the teacher, sorry. Now, if you say you are growing fat, it is a body shaming picture. So in most of the universities where we have seen, because I have been sitting for most of the legal committees also, since mental health is very much concerned, where people say that my teacher has been going on body shaming with me, like he or she, suppose it is a opposite gender, that's it, the teacher is no more there in the university also. So body shaming is another thing where people should not speak of. Physical or emotional violence in any form should not be there from the teacher towards the student. Now space and distance and touch is very much which we are giving importance nowadays. Before we used to bend and we used to take blessings from the teachers, but now gone are those days where people used to come, and even a small gentle warm touch also may be turning to something else if the gender discrimination is there. So in many schools cultures, a physical distance between teacher and students is maintained, and which has to be maintained in general. So, or else there may be some type of psychological blame, or the climate, or emotionally they may be blamed in different ways. The teachers are not expected to give a warm hug to a student who is crying or distressed. Can you imagine? So this is where the students are, they may also listen to teachers and all, they may be very close to teacher, they may love the teacher, but the teacher every time has to maintain a distance or space or touch. So this all have to be maintained, so for the wellness of the teacher, I will say, not for the other things. So now communication dynamics in the classroom. So, teacher immediacy comprises of verbal and nonverbal behavior, okay, that creates closeness between teachers and students. Now, how is it possible? Like close eye contact, one of the major example. Good humorous people like teachers, student like teachers who are very humorous while teaching. It's not the teaching and teaching, just a word of example as I'm giving, or something, some latest update in the society which is going on. People will be more interested in that. Okay, so these are some type of immediacy where teachers can use it, and some non-immediacy, like, you know, to teach from notes. Sometimes the teachers do not go for eye contact. They will just take some notes and they will write in the board, or they will show in the digital form. This is how, or they will just uh, yeah, stand protected behind a table or a podium. Sometimes it happens. They teach in a monotonous way without looking here and there, just go on looking at a person or few people, even though so many people as students are sitting there. So these are different type of behaviors of a teacher which may affect the students. So sometimes students may say that the teacher is not looking at me, even though I'm looking at the teacher. So there are very, very few teachers who may not be able to look at everyone, but what we see in the training sessions is very much close eye contact is needed, so that you will come to know who is disturbing in your class or who is really listening to you. And if it is very monotonous, it is non-immediacy, that if it is not at all preferable, right? So in classrooms, there are a number of students. That is, different type of students are there, different qualities of students are there, different personalities of students are there. As you can see, the communication apprehension, right? So sometimes people feel internal discomfort. Sometimes people communicate, they try to avoid. Sometimes they try to withdraw. So sometimes people speak more. Okay. So these are different types of communication. Suppose one is feeling discomfort, they will be showing they will experience fear or terror. Okay. So if the students are having this type of inequalities in your classroom, then uh, these are the ways you can help them out. Like, so there are some physical or psychological withdrawal also you may see. Like, there may be students, they will not look at you, they will look at someone else, or they will look outside, or they will try to, you know, focus somewhere else, like distracting. Because when students come to us for help, they say that, ma'am, I'm almost distracted in the class. I cannot concentrate in the class. So this is one of the tip which I am sharing with you all, so that it will be helpful when you are going to the class to teach, right? Now, when we talk about teachers' attitude, there was a big, very famous psychologist, Carl Rogers. So he has given three attitudes where the communication, learning and communication takes place. One is realness and genuineness of the teacher. The teacher wants really to help the students. So from the inner heart, she or he comes and teaches the students and try to win their trust on him or her. Sometimes pricing, acceptance, trust is also needed, along with empathy in relationship with students. When we sit on the other shoes, we know what type of problem they face. Sometimes appreciation, pricing in the sense you're not giving any price there, but when you appreciate the person, the student, so the student will be really motivated towards your own subject, right? So deep listening, that's what yesterday I was saying. From the teacher's side, you need not do anything. But if you listen to a student, then that is enough for the student to like the teacher and the subject. Hardly nowadays we find students having people to listen to them. Very few. Even in the family, it's such a competitive lifestyle for all of us. We don't have time to listen to our children. So even though you are in a very hurry situation, if you drop down for a while, it will be really very helpful. I can give one example which took place today in my cabin, my office. I was just going for a meeting by 4 o'clock. So all of a sudden, one student enters and comes to me and says that, "Ma'am, one of my friend wants to have a counseling session." I told it's already 4 o'clock and the meeting is going to start. So she said, "Ma'am, if you speak to her for 2 minutes also, I will be really grateful." This is what the friendship of the students takes place. I said, "Okay, fine. You bring the student. Meanwhile, I'll give a call and postpone the meeting up for 10 minutes." So I spoke to the student. The student was hesitating right in front because she felt that no, I will not listen. But I pretended to listen to her, and I made her to feel that, yes, I'm there for you. So just listening is enough. And she went on for 10 minutes speaking and speaking. So later, there was this pause, and I told, "Well, let us meet some other time because I have a meeting." She was very happy. So she told that, "Ma'am, I used to go through this way. I used to see your name, but I was not having the courage to come and speak to you." And I thank the other friend of her who brought her, who understood that, yes, she was also listening, but a professional person is needed for that. So listening is a very good attitude where you can really make people happy. Giving and receiving feedback. There is no condition which we demand from our students. Unconditionally, we accept our students as they are. So when as we give feedback to students, they also give feedback to teachers, right? So our feedback must be empathetic, constructive, and authentic. So it can be both verbally or non-verbally. So people should understand what we are trying to communicate. That's it. Now, relational life position, as you remember in the first session itself, I spoke about four life position. I am not okay, you are okay. So I feel that I am helpless, you are fine. Okay. So here what happens in this form communication. A growing individual assumes this life position. If the parent and other authority figures consistently give the message that you are not okay, you need to do better. A person gets 90, 95, still the parent goes on saying that still you have to pray. So, this type of communication, if you go on giving to your subordinates or to the students or to your children, people they will lose confidence. So, we are not supposed to give such things. We are supposed to encourage them, motivate them in all those things. Now, I am not okay, you are also not okay. If this type of, when the need for positive approval is consistently rejected by adults, the growing adult individual gives up hope. Always my parents say that I'm also not okay, you are not okay. They go on quarreling, fighting, arguing about all those things. So, what will happen to the student in the later stage? They will give up hope. Where will I get help from if I don't get help from my own people here? So, I am okay, you are not okay. In this, growing individuals, where we see that people are abused even in home or school. They become so rigid. So when they become very rigid, they try to reject others. Always when they are spoken like this. The last is very positive. I'm okay. You are also okay. So let us work together. This is what the thing comes of. Some voice disturbances coming up. Can I see who is muted? Sunita ma'am, can you please? Oh, thank you. Fine. So, yes. So these are all life position where we need to learn how to interact with the students or what type of communication is needed for the students. And as you know, our class is always filled up with different gender, culture, diversity is there. Again, I'll talk about pluralism where I have already spoken about it. So it should be properly, it should be appropriate in the things like if it is a co-ed school, a relationship between boy and girl seems to be suspicion, but a teacher should not go with the characters level of the students there. Rather than they should be sitting together and they should understand what is the relationship of what is relationship actually. Nowadays in the culture diversity, there are many suicides taking place just because of this term relationship. People do not understand what is relationship actually. So they try to depend on the other person. They go for breakups. There are so many things which takes place, and a teacher, a leader can only help the students rather than humiliating them in any way, but they can help them to understand about this type of concepts. Now, how to build a positive communication climate in schools? There are different ways where the teachers can help to bring a positive communication climate in schools, like among the partners in schools, the teachers, students, non-teaching staff, everyone bringing together just a proper positive communicate community. Schools need to be non-hierarchical, not hierarchical. Sorry, so it should be non-hierarchical, where each and every person should respect everyone. It's not that the person is coming and brooming the floor or mopping the floor, the person cannot be given an respect. No. So there should be a proper family community or a bonding with everyone. Schools need to make parents feel like a welcome part. This is your place, and you can come and speak to us at any time. Just let us know when you are coming. So that voice should be heard from the parents. A democratic environment on trust and openness that can be developed when you listen to people, when you respect people, that can be done. In addition to it, parent teacher or teacher teacher communication, student student, as I started with this yesterday, every psychological climate of the school should be critically taken care. So this all are a positive communication development, which you can see that a positive communication climate taking place in this. The most excessive competitive structures and resultant emotional shutdown and withdrawal are the reason for psychological depression. Even there are in schools people have suicidal ideation. There have been many people in my university where they say that, ma'am, from fifth standard, sixth standard, I was really surprised to see that from school levels they have all this type of problems within them. So the teachers can be second parents to them also. They can teach many things to the students as a role model for them. Now, communication has been identified by UNESCO nowadays, where along with critical thinking, creativity, collaboration in this century itself, and that is what it is giving a way to the future for manifestation. So nowadays, we can, as teachers, we can help our students in different ways if we communicate properly with them, right? So, after communication, we come across decision making and problem solving. As a teacher, if you are taking a right decision, then this will be learned by the students, by your own followers, and they will be also able to solve their own problems based on your choice. Now, decision making is a mechanism for making choices at each step of the problem solving. So, first of all, in decision making, you cannot just take a decision by yourself in a hurry. First, we have to identify what is to be done, then select a course of action from two or more courses of action to be taken, then solve a problem. There are steps where we need to follow. I will be coming in the next slides and all. Now, teacher decisions about the content, appropriate instructional strategies to be adopted, the use of technologies to be done, classroom management discipline is needed, because if the students go on talking and you start teaching, there may be a chance that a person comes to the side of the class and checks what is going on. Okay, so there should be assessment, proper assessment of student learning ultimately will be influencing student learning also. Now, when I talk about, there are so many ways, like the lesson plans you people make, you find out which content is easier to follow, then you try giving so many examples, which will be helping them a lot. So, problem solving is the act of finding answers to complicated issues or problems. That is also which is needed, both of them are interlinked, whether decision making or problem solving. Both are interlinked to each other, right? Then, what is the need or what is the significance of problem solving and decision making? Now, decision making is important from an individual perspective, also as a teacher, even as an organization, also as a school. Now, why is it? What way you can help to take proper and effective problem solving and decision making skills? There are some points. They are rational ways of thinking, intellectual ways of thinking. You cannot just say that there are so many people, go with the majority and take the decision. Never. There should be a wise decision and an intellectual decision to be taken after undergoing all the problems issues. Recognize that where all you have a choice about many important things in our lives. So when we go for decisions and all, like I was talking about the conflict, the intra conflict. So intrapersonal, we have approach, avoidance. So the decisions, how you're going to take, there are different choices for taking a decision. Avoid making decisions sloppily by default, okay? Because if you do it, there will be problems later to you. Avoid irrational ideas or false assumptions. Do not give any false assumption or, you know, some type of motion, some types of blocking good decision making, that also is not at all advisable. The determination of objectives, policies, involves decision making again, and the outstanding quality of a teacher makes sound decisions. Maybe sometimes when we need some decisions to be taken as per our official concerns are needed, we can take the help of our co-teachers, our colleagues, and go with other type of things to go for the right decision which can be taken by you. Yeah? Yes. These are types of decisions which a teacher can take. So teacher takes decision before teaching, during teaching, and after teaching, right? So you can just think of whether it is really going along with your way or not. Before teaching, anyone, it's not only teacher, anyone, they plan. They plan to teach. Sorry. So in planning, what you all do, if you need, you can just take this help also. You identify the student needs. What do they need? Suppose we are going to the stage to speak something. We look at the audience and see what are their needs. We speak something and see that what do they need from us. We speak accordingly. Then we go with the goals and objectives. Then decide the content which is to be taught today, tomorrow, by this week. Some strategies and media to be adopted, some student assessment we can give as you go with the class work, homework, and all these things. This all you feel that this has to be ready by today's class. So when you go for teaching, you present it through digital or go with the board or you talk to them. It is up to the teacher because the teacher is the leader of the class there. So you can go on questioning the students, you can listen to them. So if any student answers, you can appreciate them, giving them feedback, and you monitor each and every student in the class, how they are responding to you. Some rules, some norms, you can say that this is what, when I teach, you should not ask questions. Usually we say. So some care, some respect is needed, and acquisition is needed when we can talk about it. These are all when we are inside the class. So once we finish the class, we usually it takes place like internal exam or final exam. It takes place the mode of assessment as I was teaching. So recording and evaluating, you can go with the marks. So these are different ways where the decisions a teacher can make, planning, implementing, assessing. Very important for teachers. Now, roles of teachers besides teaching. What type of roles are there for teachers besides teaching? Is it teaching only goal? Never. A teacher is also a class teacher, a teacher is also a house teacher. Yeah, a teacher also takes care of the organizational responsibilities. Some assignments are given, right? So, number one, where we can see is organizational and personal decisions. The personal decisions are those that cannot be delegated by others to others. I have to do my own. My class I have to take care. I cannot just ask. If I ask, there will be an alternate class, not mine. Alternate teacher will come and engage the class and go on in my absence. But my personal class I have to take. The decisions are meant only to achieve personal goals. If the teacher has to decide between two students for a new important position of the class monitors, so you people have to do when no one else can interfere. Now, organizational decision goes like deciding about a strategy with other teachers to improve performance of the student. Suppose there's a 10th exam or board exam or 12th board exam or 11th or so. Now, if you see that the performance of the students are going down in particular subject, then the organization, you have to take the help of the other teachers and you need to decide on that. So these are called the decisions taken by yourself and the others. Next is routine and strategic decisions. Routine decisions, what type of decision repeatedly you are going for the class. So suppose you are having the second hour class or third hour class, this is just routine work, you have to do it. And strategic decisions are those which are deliberated upon the in-depth of the impact of the entire organizations. Like suppose as you have seen in the pandemic or COVID, all of a sudden there was a change. What strategies are to be developed by the organization there, by you over there? So it is up to the strategic decisions again. Now, policy and operating decisions. As a teacher, what type of policy or operations they have to do? Like some policies decisions like which are taken at a higher level. So the teachers can give suggestions or their own views for new curriculums or so, or new subjects to be implemented or so. Like implementation of the national curriculum in the framework of your school. These teachers are having a meeting, they can do it accordingly. Programmed and non-programmed decisions, like program decision are again routine type, which are systematic procedures they have been to be devised so that they are not to be treated as a unique one. Like what is to be done if a student fails in one subject? Will the student be promoted to another class? So these are all program decisions. Non-programmed are very complex, like canceling the examination due to question paper leakage. Sometimes we come across, right? So this is not program. We do not program it because it comes accidentally. We have to face those things. So we have to go with the again another question set of papers. Again, we need to go with the answer sheets. Yes, I can understand because sometimes I also set question papers and you go with the answers, go with the details. It's really tiring again. Yeah. Now, what are the attributes or the qualities of a teacher as an effective decision maker? What type of qualities a teacher should have to be effectively called as a decision maker or people can trust you? So, one is knowledge. A teacher should have knowledge about his or her own subject. He or she should follow the proper pedagogy and the professional ethics should be followed properly. So there may be some unique ways to teach, like in geography, we teach maps. So there will be some unique ways where we will be teaching. But the way of teaching is always different. It's different according to the teacher's quality, the knowledge of the teacher, advice seeking. Good decision makers identify people who can make specific contributions to the decision making and ask them for advice. It's not that asking advice is a foolish thing or we are weaker in section, never. When we go for something, some advices, we can also ask advice from others. This is a good decision maker teacher should be. Comprehensiveness, it goes with different alternatives. Every possible alternatives can be a better choice. It's not that whatever I said it is to be done. The next is also flexibility. We should be open minded. Suppose they have done something, if there is another person saying another thing, that's okay, we should appreciate. But if we want to say something that whichever I have said, I should be properly explaining the factor. I will be giving you a good example which you can understand how it is to be done. Now, what happens? Decision making processes, I'll be giving one by one. So, identify and define the problem. So, suppose, for example, I'll give a deviation from the good performance in a student or poor teacher's motivation can be identified as a sudden change in established patterns of performance. Suppose the principal comes to know that there is some problem in one of the subject, the students are not at all getting good marks. And is the student understanding what the teacher says, or does the teacher have good motivation towards the students or not, or does the teacher has a proper knowledge level or not, is what is to be mentioned, right? When problem arises, it's always encouraged to go for an alternatives. So alternatives will be helping you to solve the problem easily. When you find the alternative, try to evaluate it. That is what the next step of decisions and all. So one has to be defining the goals for different solutions and determine the time frame that best results under the a variety of conditions of certainty and ambiguity. So there will be some type of uncertainty also. There will be some times where it is meaningless. But how you're going to evaluate on those things is based on the teacher again. Now, when you go with the evaluating of the alternatives, you will find some of the best alternatives over there. You need to prioritize the alternatives, like choosing the alternatives which will be helping you the most. Okay. After choosing the alternatives, you have to implement that. Okay. So if you feel according to your knowledge, according to your way, your ideas, this is the best, you have to implement and see whether it's working or not. Then you have to go for controlling and evaluation of decisions. After implementing, you have to see that whether it is really working or not. When you are teaching, any type of process may come across. Like some of the characteristics I have mentioned here is it is a process of choice in the course of action from alternative courses of action. So which one do you choose first? Now, great extent it is application of intellectual abilities. Then we go with the reasoning out. Then we see the environmental factor. Then there is a timeline. We cannot just go on for days together. We need to go with a time lag. With a purpose again, without any purpose, we cannot do anything. And multiple actions should be defined in order to go with the final choice. Before you go with the final decision, there will be so many things coming up, right? Now, the next I will be giving you an example of a teacher. You can just put yourself and you can find out where do you belong to. So in problem solving model, this is a model which is saying this will help you more because we are going deeper and deeper. As you can see, the 5-step model is one is identify the problem. So how will you identify the problem? If I say to any teacher, identify the problem. So there should be some questions, no? How to identify. So if there is an issue, first question is what is happening or what is not happening. You can raise this issue. Who all are involved in this problem? Why has the problem to be solved? Why others are needed to solve the problem? What are the stakes? Does the problem have a deadline or a specific timeline? So these are different questions which will help you to identify the problem. So this is a checklist, you know, where you can identify, where you can define, where you can analyze the problems. This is checklist which will be helping you to understand easily. So, first of all, when a teacher comes across any problem, they have to find out did this type of problem occur previously or this is a new problem. So, if the problem has been identified, then we need to say that is it clearly stated or do we have to assume something? Is it really true to it? Or what would happen if nothing were done about this problem if we leave it like that? Can the problem be restated? If yes, how? What data are known that have bearing on the problem? Or is the information accurate? Are there any rules or procedures for it? Okay. What additional facts are needed besides all this? Do I have to make this decision or will someone else? See how slowly the checklist is helping you out for identifying, defining, and analyzing the problem. It's very important. Explore alternatives. Once you identify the problem, you go with different alternatives, which has two parts again. One is generating the alternatives. Once you find out the alternatives, then you evaluate the alternatives. Like once you give the question paper to the students, then you start correcting. This is how we are saying. So, in generating alternatives, we have brainstorming, like individually can be done or in a group it can be done. Through survey method, we can ask many people and give us go for a survey or discussion group. So, in order to find the proper alternative, we can take all these three methods. So, how to select an alternative? So, in order to select an alternative, we have to go through some criteria. They are risk. You may have risk. You have you may have to face economy of effort, the time and limitations. All these things are very much needed to go for a selection, which will help you to go for the best alternative there. Now, this is how implementing the solution. Once you go for selecting and you got it, now these are different steps of implementing. Develop an action plan, then go with the objectives, then go with the resources, then go, your plan should state what is to be done and what not. Okay, whether you are doing or someone else is doing, when you are going to do, where you are going to do, how are you going to do, what steps you are going to take. All this comes in the implementing of the solution, which is not easy term. Then you go with the evaluation of the situation. So in evaluation, you have to follow all this monitoring, whether this monitoring progress is okay or not, or is there any changes, or you need more resources, or any alternative solution is required. So it goes on. Now I'll go with the case. Okay. So as I was referring, so this will be a very minute, the meaning will be giving of how you have been going through all the alternatives and all. So when I go with a case, you check how the case is taking care of the alternatives, right? Mr. Dilbar is the teacher of a school. The pass percentage of the student is of his class in the midterm examination has fallen to 83% when it was 95% over the last 5 years. But this year it is 83. So there is a problem, right? So the person has to submit a report. The school management has asked, submit a report why there is a fall of percentage, pass percentage. Okay. Now what he has to do, he has to assess why there is a decline in the result, as well as how he intends to address the problem. Now first, he has to identify the problem, right? So in this, he went for the analysis of subject teacher, based past percentages, attendance records of the teachers, attendance records of the students, performance records of the students during the whole year, because this year only it has gone down. Relative complexity of the previous year's question papers, whether the question papers were easy and this is tough this year. So all these things he has taken in the first step. So second step, what he has done is, based on this analysis, Mr. Dilbar found out that maximum number of students failed in mathematics, which the class was taught by a newly appointed teacher, Mr. Gonsalves. So that is the point they identified already. This is the step 2. Now they have analyzed, post analysis what they did. So this person did the appraisal of Mr. Gonsalves. In his appraisal, He has checked the results of the unit test to find out whether Mr. Gonsalves made extra efforts to help the students or not. Suppose unit test 1, unit test 2, whether there was the marks were increased or not, whether the students really did well or not. So he took qualitative feedback from the students on their interest in mathematics subjects. Usually maths is very tough, so the teacher has to work a lot to bring the interest of the students. But here, the class sessions and progress on the syllabus event, their perception regarding the difficulty level of how they found the midterm paper. The students were asked, right? Then what he did, he sat through the classes where Mr. Gonsalves was teaching for the 3 days to understand if there was a scope for improvement in the teaching method. Okay, or in some ways that person, the teacher can be helped or not. So all these exercises Mr. Delvar did, and he found that the teacher concerned lacked sufficient knowledge and experience to teach the senior most class. So he's coming slowly to a decision. In his report to school management, Mr. Delvar spelled out his assessment of the result and shared the corrective steps taken by him. So he has taken it individually. Now he's sharing with the school management, giving the responsibility of teaching the senior most class to a teacher of junior class who had proved record of consistent performance. Junior, he was fine, but when he was given to the senior, the pass percentage fall was seen. Now, arranging orientation program for the newly appointed teacher. This is what he comes into the conclusion. Now, you may conclude after reading both the cases that the teachers need to observe and attempt to make sense of situations by checking through the experiences, by checking through the classes. This is how uh, analysis, identification, decisions are made later on. It's not that we are saying something bad about the teacher. There should be some type of program, orientation program, which was not done for the newly appointed teachers. It should be done. So it is always taken from the for the teacher side as well as the organization side. Got it? So this is how we have come into the end of this, and I think so. I tried my best to make it interesting. So to summarize, there are so many things to be learned here. Hope you all have understood your own self. You have understood how to manage your own self. There will be so many things where you are placed for. Then the conflicts may arise. It is very common for people to go for conflicts and all. It will come. We should know how to go with the conflicts, and we should know how we have to come up well in our life peacefully without any problems or issues coming forth. So my best wishes to all of you. Hope you all have understood, and I have tried my best to make you all feel ease in the sessions. So if you would like to ask me anything, any example or anything you have come across in your life with the students, I can help you, because being a professional person, I usually help many people over here. Is there anyone who need my help, or we can just stop the session? Okay, fine. So I wish you all the best. Please treat the students as your own child, and we will be having a proper, you know, good future for our students, because they are the future citizens over here. So thank you so much for attending my sessions. Wish you good luck and better future in your career. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.